ET Hotel. How's everyone doing tonight? I am your big brother Jahi, and as you can see, I've stepped my game up. We're going to be continuing to talk about, oh, sure, I love you, but you're killing me. So tonight's broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And I hope that everyone is doing well. And so we often greet you by a word that's a Medu Neter word, which is ETM Hotel, which means we welcome you in peace. We really appreciate you watching this broadcast, and you mean so much to us. And so tonight, we're going to start off by letting you know what our subject matter is going to be about. Well, here's our subject matter right here. Oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. Oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. And the reason why we're saying that, because this is part 2 of a broadcast that we started last week. And we were talking about effects of the overconsumption of sugar, because sugar is basically a carbohydrate. And this is something that's necessary for our bodies. And it basically breaks down the sugar and it gives us energy. And so carbohydrates are naturally in everything that we eat. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not consuming more than we need. In fact, the body really doesn't need any sugar because we get sugar. Our body produces sugar. We also get sugar, natural sugar, in fruits and also in vegetables. And basically, the body breaks down carbohydrates and it turns those carbohydrates into glucose, which is sugar. So it requires that we have energy, brothers and sisters. But many of us are consuming too much sugar. And that's what we want to talk about tonight, because added sugars, basically what they're doing is they're making us lethargic. They're doing things to our bodies that we should be aware of. It's really killing us. And so let's talk about that tonight. If you have a comment, we ask that you post a comment and we'll share the comment and we'll talk about the comment, because sugar is doing us a great disservice. All of the added sugars that we have intake in our bodies, in our foods, in our snacks, in our candies, also in our drinks. These things are not healthy for us. And that's why we're having this discussion tonight. And so, according to the American Heart Association, y'all, according to the American Heart Association, it teaches us that the body does not need any added sugar to function healthily, because the body makes sugar, and the insulin in our bodies makes sure that the sugar is being disseminated throughout our bodies the way it should. But when we start eating all of that candy, when we start eating all the snacks, when we start drinking all of the sodas, when we start drinking all of the alcohol, what it does is it slowly poisons us. And so tonight, we must have that discussion about how the body really doesn't need sugars to function properly. And if that's the case, why do we continue to give our children all of this sugar? Why do we continue to consume the sugar that we consume? Why do we continue to drink all of this sugar, knowing that this sugar is not good for us? And so if you really think about it, you will realize that our bodies don't need sugar, because our pancreas, it produces insulin in us, and the insulin, it absorbs the sugar, and then it gives us energy and it stores that sugar. And so when we continue to eat all of these sweets, continue to overconsume in sugar, it does a great disservice to us. That's right. Tonight's broadcast is called Adults Only. But our subject, brothers and sisters, our subject matter is talking about, oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. And we don't want to talk about that because we're too busy talking about alcoholics. And we often tell them how they should stop drinking. We often tell the dope fiend they should stop doing drugs. And these things are true. But then why are we not telling ourselves, and I'm speaking about myself as well, why do we as people consume too much sugar? And we become addicted to this sugar. And then we become addicts. Then we become junkies. And so what I'm trying to get us all to see tonight is this. The body itself, it requires added sugar, or no added sugar, I should say. The body requires no added sugar to function properly. So why do we keep on doing these things, meaning putting this sugar in our bodies, brothers and sisters? So we shouldn't be doing that because we're basically killing ourselves. And I'm speaking to all of us because most of us, in fact, all of us, we are consuming too much sugar. We're consuming too much sugar from the foods that we eat. Just about everything that we eat is saturated with sugar. And so as intelligent beings, we should stay away from the sugar because we really don't need it. So we have to find out ways to break the addictions that we all have. The intake of sugar, it triggers the release of insulin, as I said earlier, into the bloodstream. And this is enough for us. And this is why many people that have diabetes have to take a shot, because they've consumed so much sugar that the body isn't working properly. And when we eat sweets, listen to this. When we eat sweets, the brain's reward system, which is called the mesolimbic dopamine system, it gets activated. And when the reward system fires, it reinforces those behaviors. And that makes it more likely for us to carry out these actions again and again and again, as I said last week. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slow it down and I'm going to talk about one thing that we must all do. And I want to give it to you in a sense of a note or in the sense of a remark, because we definitely want to talk about this. And so the first thing we must know about sugars and the dangers and the effects of overconsumption of sugars, what we must do is this. Ready for it? All right, here it comes. We must break the chains of mental dependency on sugar. That's right. We all should break the chains of our mental dependency on sugar, because we're all strung out, but we're strung out on sugar. And this mental dependency on sugar is that which has caused us much grief. It has psychologically damaged most of our mindset. And so the mental dependency on sugar is a problem, but we must break those chains. And so we must not only break those chains, we must teach our children the importance of not depending on sugar. And because we have given them sugar when they were younger, and as they got older, they thought that sugar was a natural part of their diet, but it shouldn't be. And so what we must do to combat that is we must make sure that we break the mental dependency on sugar. Why? Because you really don't need it. I really don't need it. And that's why we're saying these things. And I hope you're listening, because this broadcast is called Adults Only, because this broadcast is for adult minds. Yes, children can listen to this broadcast, but it's time that we sat down as adults and talked about the effects and the dangers of the sugars that we're putting in our body. Because too much sugar, brothers and sisters, is one of the primary challenges to health in modern societies. You know it to be true, and I know it to be true. Too much sugar is that which is depriving us of the real strength that we need. So let's break the chains of our mental dependency on sugar. And then what we must do is we must realize that too much sugar can trigger and cause a range of health issues, problems including diabetes. Most African Americans that are in their 30s or over, we have to take insulin shots or insulin pills or something that has to do with helping us regulate the sugar that's in our bodies, because we didn't do a very good job of it. We also have to realize that sugar causes dementia. And we wonder sometimes why, when we get older, why do we as a people lose our minds and can't seem to think properly and can't seem to realize that the mind is something that should go forever. But yet, because of the dependency on sugar, because of what sugar has done to us, beautiful people, sugar has destroyed most of us. And so now let's take back that which has been damaged, because too much sugar not only causes diabetes, and you know someone that has diabetes, so do I. You know someone that has dementia, and so do I. Sugar is also an addiction. It's an addiction. It is just like a crack addict or a dope fiend, because sugar is that which most of us don't want to talk about, but we must look at it because sugar is very dangerous. Check this out, brothers and sisters. Sugar is real dangerous, and it's causing a lot of us grief. How sugar destroys your body, how sugar destroys my body. Sugar causes us so many problems. Not only do we deal with diabetes, not only do we deal with dementia, not only are we struggling with addictions when we intake so much sugar, we also have an issue that's obese, which is obesity. It's our health. See, many of us, we consume too much sugar from drinks, from the foods that we eat, and from the things that we just indulge in when it comes to sugar. So sugar is that which is destroying our bodies. And so I'm speaking this way because of my love for us. I'm speaking this way because I myself have an issue with sugar. I myself personally have to fight this thing, just like we all do. And so this is a broadcast called Adults Only that's going to teach us, brothers and sisters, us. It's going to let us see the importance of what we have to do when it comes to the intake of sugar. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of us are struggling right now, but a lot of us don't want to admit it because many of us are struggling because we have not been taught what to do with the sugar. We have not been taught to do how do we do sugar? What do we do with sugar? Oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. That's tonight's broadcast. And so if you have a comment, or if you have a question or concern, or if you know that you're struggling with sugar, you need to be commenting and putting a remark in that you have to do a better job, because I know that I have to do a better job, because I know that my body is being broken down every day because of the intake of sugar. It's in candy, it's in foods, it's in spaghetti, it's in ketchup. It's in just about everything that we like. It's in all of those things that we look at to say they're good for us. But in reality, oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. And so this is why we're having tonight's broadcast. And the first thing we said, which I want to put on the screen again, is how to defeat this. The first thing we must all do when it comes to sugar, because we know that we're struggling, it is we must break the chains of mental dependency on sugar, because a lot of us are dependent upon sugar, and you don't want to listen to me, and I don't want to listen to you. But when we have to take insulin shots, when we have to go to the hospital, when we're on our deathbed, when we have to be on dialysis, when we have to go to hospital after hospital because of the things that we didn't do. And I'm telling you now, brothers and sisters, that all of us, we must all break the chains of mental dependency on sugar. Why? Because you don't need it and I don't need it. And so, brothers and sisters, please take heed to what your big brother is saying tonight. And I'm saying that this is a problem. And a lot of us don't even want to talk about it. A lot of us don't even want to hear it. But yet, that's the first thing that we must do. We must break the chains of our mental dependency on sugar. Brothers and sisters, listen to this. Sugar also appears on some of the brands that we buy at the store, some of the labels that we see. But see, what it does is it disguises itself. Oh, yes, sugar disguises itself. So you must look out, and so I must look out for the following ingredients that's disguised in food. When you go shopping, look on the label at the ingredients, and it'll tell you basically that it's sugar, but won't use the word sugar. And because we have not examined it, we think that we're eating something that's good. But all these labels are telling us that this is nothing but a form of sugar. Raw sugar is what we must look out for. Corn syrup is what we must look out for. Corn sweetener or syrup. Things that are high in fructose, that's nothing but sugar. Brown sugar, that's still sugar. Coconut sugar, that's still sugar, beautiful people. Fruit juices, sugar. Concentrated drinks, sugar. Maple syrup, sugar. Invert sugar, sugar. Malt sugar, sugar. Dextrose, sugar. Fructose, sugar. Glucose, sugar. Maltose, sugar. sucrose, sugar, and lactose, sugar. And so what your big brother is saying tonight is that we must break the mental dependency, those chains that are on us, because a lot of us are struggling right now. I'm going to show you something now, and I want you to see it, and I want to read it with you because it's something that we should take a look at. And I want to just let you look at this because it's very important that we examine how sugar has addicted a lot of us. And we as a people have to come to the grips that sugar is something, brothers and sisters, that is crazy. It is killing us. It's insane. Listen to this. Did you know that sugar is 8 times as addictive as cocaine? Oh, yes. And what's interesting is while cocaine and heroin, it activates only one spot for pleasure in the brain. But sugar lights up the brain like a pinball machine. Now, it's not funny, but it's true. Did you not know that sugar is 8 times as addictive as cocaine? And what is interesting is while cocaine and heroin, it activates only one spot for pleasure in the brain, sugar lights up the brain like a pinball machine. Now, this is something, brothers and sisters, that you and I should say, oh my goodness, that's something that I shouldn't be involved in. But that's what most of us are involved in. Why? Because we don't know how. As a people, we just don't know how to deal with the aspect of sugar is something that we should not be taking in. And this is something that we have to all learn to do because sugar is killing us. It's killing your grandmother. It's killing my grandfather. It's killing your uncle. It's killing my aunt. This is an adult conversation, and this broadcast is for adults only. And it's time that adults sit down and talk about the importance of our bodies when it comes to what we are consuming. Other serious health problems that excessive intake of sugar causes is inflammation. Oh, yes, the swelling of our bodies. Our joints are swelling up because we're consuming too much sugar. What about skin aging? In other words, when we intake so much sugar, we must realize that sugar is making us age. Now, I know the statement that we all like to say, but we must refute that statement because the statement we like to make is this. We say that black don't crack. That's what we say. Black don't crack. Well, we must start adding to that because all the sugar intake we're taking, black may not be cracking, but black sure is busting. And this is why a lot of us are young, but yet we look old. It's because of the overconsumption of sugar. You know it's true in your life, and I know it's true in my life. When will we stand up as adults and realize that sugar is addictive? When will we as people realize that sugar means us no good? Sugar also, brothers and sisters, it causes us to overeat because the taste buds taste that which is sweet. And the taste buds tells the brain, oh, the dopamine fires off and it says, oh, this is good. And I want more. I want more. I want more. And all the while we're eating, and the more we eat, the more obese we're getting. I can only talk about myself. I cannot talk about you because I am as fat as a hog when it comes to my so-called height and my weight, because me doing what I do when it comes to sugar consumption, that's a problem. And you know it's a problem in your life. And so sugar, eating it causes us to be overweight. And we have health issues in the African-American community. In fact, it's all over in every community, but especially in the African-American community. Weight gain as well as fatigue. You ever wonder why sometimes you're really tired? You're just tired. Well, it's probably because you and I are intaking so much sugar that it makes us fatigue and we don't want to do anything. We have no strength. We have no energy because that sugar is making us tired all of the time. Go to sleep tired, wake up tired. We don't want to walk. We don't want to jog. We don't want to run. We don't want to work out. We don't want to do anything. Why? because that sugar that's in us, brothers and sisters, and I mean this with a sincere heart, that sugar is destroying us. And a lot of us don't want to face the challenges that sugar is causing us. Listen to this. Sugar also causes colon cancer. Yes, sugar potentially, it causes tooth decay, teeth falling out, teeth rotting. You know that's the truth. This is why when we take our children to the dentist, they find cavity all the time. Well, why do you think that cavity has come? The cavity came because we're giving them too much sugar. We're giving them too much food with sugar in it. We're giving them too many drinks with sugar in it. It also causes high blood pressure. Yes, salt causes high blood pressure, and too much sugar can cause high blood pressure. See, high cholesterol have to be on medicine because the sugar intake is so great that we need medicine to calm it down. And over the years, that medicine is going to destroy us because of all of the medicine that we've taken. It's going to it's going to damage our liver. It's going to mess with our kidneys. See, that's what sugar does. It causes kidney disease. It causes liver disease. It damages the retina in our eyes. Sometimes you think you're old and you're just getting old and need glasses, but no, we're getting old and need glasses, and our eyesight is failing us because that sugar. But no one's telling us this. They're telling you to just eat. We're digging a grave with our teeth. And so we can't do that. And we have muscle and nerve damage because of all the intake of sugar. So the next thing we must do, we must not only break the chains, beautiful people, of mental dependency on sugar. This is something else we must do right now. We must get rid of our psychological slavery to sugar. Boy, I have some new equipment and I don't know how to act. As you can see, I'm flipping and I'm clicking, and this is beautiful because now I can put it on the screen for those who needs to take notes. And I don't give you many points, but enough points to let you know that if you write these down, if I write these down in my heart and on paper and apply, we will be better people health-wise. Get rid of our psychological slavery to sugar. You are not a slave to sugar. You don't have to be a slave to sugar. But sugar teaches you that you are. Sugar tells you when you walk to the store or go to the grocery store rather and go down an aisle and see something that's oozing with sugar. It calls our name. We can't walk down the cookie aisle because the cookies call our name. Jahi. Big brother Jahi grabbed me. So I grabbed the cookies. Then we go another step or two. There's the ice cream counter. And the ice cream is saying, "Ooh, Jahi, you know you love me." So then I grab the ice cream. And then the spaghetti says, "Man, you know you like spaghetti." But that spaghetti is nothing but carbs, starch. And that starch turns to sugar. So what I'm talking about is we must all get rid of our psychological slavery to sugar. You know that you're struggling. And I know that I'm struggling. But you too damn proud to sit down and listen to someone teach us that we have to do a better job when it comes to our sugar intake, because some of us are psychologically addicted to sugar. We're slaves to sugar. And this is why a lot of us don't want to hear this. But as you can see, beautiful people, I'm telling you this because all of us are in the same boat. We must learn how to get rid of our psychological slavery to sugar. And that is when our mind tells us and we walk down the cookie aisle and the cookie calls our name and the cookie says to me, "Jahi, you know you want me." And I look back at the cookies and I say, "I don't need you. You're no good for me. I'm going to defeat you once and for all. I'm going to learn how to live a life because my body makes you. My body makes sugar. So I don't need you. I don't need your feel good. I don't need your high. I don't need to come down low after I eat you." See, this is the way we must talk to ourselves, because you may laugh and say, "Big brother, you lost it. You're off your rocker tonight." No, I'm not off my rocker. I'm on something that all of us are struggling with big time. And I'm telling you now, oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. And this is why we talk about these kinds of subjects because this sugar addiction that we have is not helping us. We should all be taking better care of ourselves, beautiful people, when it comes to our intake of sugar. How can we do that though? Well, we can add what is called magnesium to our diet. We can add magnesium to our diet because magnesium is a nutrient that will help the body to stay healthy when we consume sugar. See, now I'm talking about something that a lot of us have not heard of. These are simple tips because we can all add more magnesium to our diets to help us because magnesium is an essential mineral that promotes, brothers and sisters, numerous body functions. It does bodily functions such as protein, such as synthesis and blood sugar regulation. And so we must try to do all we can. Someone may say, well, big brother, what are some foods that I could eat that's going to help me? What are some foods that don't have sugar in it? Well, we should all be eating spinach. Yes, spinach is good. Spinach is good for us. It has magnesium in it. We also should be eating peanuts. Yes, stay away from all of those sweets, beautiful people, lovely people, wonderful people, because that's not good for us. Listen, we must all eat nuts and seeds, black beans, whole grain. Also, this is what we must do. Get enough sleep. That's one of the things that's bothering us as well. We must all learn how to get enough sleep. Take your behind to bed, and I should take my behind to bed. Stop staying up all night. Stop staying up to the wee hours of the morning because you got all that sugar in you, and so do I. And so we need to get enough rest, brothers and sisters. And when we don't get enough rest in the sugar intake that's in us now, it causes us to be irritable. That's why most people, many people, I should say, this is why a lot of us have issues. We can't get along with one another because psychologically we are so irritable because the body wants that sugar. And as soon as we get the sugar, then we calm down only for a minute because we go on highs and lows. And so we must all do a better job when it comes to the intake of sugar. Now, I'm saying this because I myself am fighting that battle. In fact, we all are fighting that battle. I said at the outset of this broadcast, the body makes enough sugar. We don't need any sugar, but because we are addicted to sugar, we find ourselves always drinking, always eating, always sipping, always snacking. And what are we snacking on? Nothing but sugar. And that sugar over all these years, beautiful people, wonderful people, lovely people, you are great people. What happens is that sugar takes its effect. And as we get older, things start happening to our bodies. If you don't believe me, look around in your family as I look in mine, and you will see people that have diabetes. You will see people whose kidneys and livers not doing what it's supposed to do only because as we grew up, we couldn't stay away from that sugar. And we can stay away from that sugar because it's a mental thing. You don't need it. In fact, I told you on last week, and go watch that broadcast, because when we come off of sugar, you're going to go through a lot. You're going to have withdrawals. Yes, you're going to be very irritable. You're going to have a lot of headaches. And these are the things that happen when a person calls themselves detoxing off of sugar. Can you believe that? Not detoxing off of dope, not detoxing off of alcohol, detoxing off of sugar. And so let's look at the third thing that we can do, because there's some things that we can do that's basic, and I'm going to show you what it is right now. The third thing that we can do is this. We can defeat our emotional cravings for sugar. This is a practical broadcast. This is a lovely broadcast. This is a wonderful broadcast. Why? Because we're talking about the basic truths that we need to hear to help us stay around a little longer. We talk about subjects that a lot of people don't want to touch. We talk about issues that a lot of people don't want to hear. And this is why we call this broadcast Adults Only, because it's only an adult, a serious-minded adult, not a person that's old numerically, but they're children in the mind. We're talking about adults who know that what I'm talking about is relaying to them because it's relaying to me. So we must defeat our emotional cravings for sugar. So what am I saying? When the body says to us, please, I got to get this sugar, we must say back to the body and our higher selves, no, you will not. I mean, I'm making it sound simple, but it's much more difficult than that because I know that a lot of us run around here struggling and you won't even admit it. You're struggling big time because you know that you have problems with sugar, intaking of sugar, but you won't even admit it. As a human being, you have become so low that you will not admit that you have a problem. And you know what they often say to those who go to AA meetings. You know what they say to those who are trying to kick the dope habit. And I'm going to tell you what they say after I take a quick swig of water. What do they say? They say the first thing you must do in order to help yourself is you have to admit it. You must admit it. But a lot of us don't want to admit it. We say, I have a sweet tooth. No, you're a junkie to sugar. We say, not just like things. No, we are a fiend for sugar. We say, well, it just makes me feel good when I eat something that's sweet. No, you are a junkie. And instead of saying I'm addicted to this stuff and I must wean myself off of this, we make excuses, and all along the emotional cravings keep us in the loop. When our bodies tell us and it screams to us that we need sugar, we must deny sugar. You can do it. Who's stronger, your emotions or the person that's pulling the strings behind your emotion? The real self, the you, the me. Just like we got hooked on sugar, we can get hooked off of this sugar. And so when the body says, we must, brothers and sisters, when the body says, please get something sweet, we must say to the body, no, I will not. And we must mean it. And we shouldn't just do it one day and then the next day, because we didn't do it, we come on real strong. Then we have these emotional highs and lows where we feel sorry for ourselves because we know we overindulged in sugar. You know, you would think that I'm talking about someone who's strung out on dope or someone that's strung out on alcohol. But yet I'm talking about us, those of us who are strung out on sugar. And you know this to be the case. And this is what we're talking about. Support adults only. Support adults only. Cash out Big Brother Jahi. I have new equipment now. You see, I've upgraded myself. I'm doing things big. One of my brothers told me, Brother Kevin says, hey, brother, you know, you need to upgrade your equipment. You know, you recording on the phone. Why don't you give the people more? And I said, you know what? I'm going to invest in it. I have my microphone here, you know. Wow, this is beautiful. But so I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, support adults only, because that's what we need to do. Adults support adults, especially when I'm telling you something that you know to be true. When I'm telling you something that could help us save our lives. This is why our children will grow up, many of them, and their lives will be cut short, not because of gun violence, not because of silly things, but because of the intake of sugar, brothers and sisters. So we're talking about tonight, oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. That's what the show is about. And a lot of you should watch this broadcast. You know you should. I know I should. Because the sugar that we're taking, it's destroying us, brothers and sisters. And so we should be doing something about it instead of complaining about always having to go to the doctor. We know we should be doing something about it, but we are over consuming ourselves with the sugar. And it's surprising that I haven't gotten many comments tonight. And it's sad to say that the majority of the people that lives in this world are struggling with sugar. And you don't have the common decency to admit that you're hooked. Now, that's a problem. That's problematic. And so this is therapy. This is catharsis. This is us getting off our chest what we need to, which is that a lot of us are consuming way too much sugar. Oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. And so we as a people know that there has to be some things that we have to do, brothers and sisters, in order to make sure that we're going to be around. So again, I want you to know that we have to do all that we can to stop this intake of sugar. I want to show you another screen that I don't think I showed you yet. And here it is now. This screen here is one that we need to look at. Now look at this. Now it says you would eat 22 packages of sugar. Then why are you drinking them? Now I want to say that again. You wouldn't eat 22 packages of sugar. And we know that you wouldn't. But we do it when? We do it when we drink, because the alcohol, although it doesn't taste sweet, is loaded with sugar. The wine is loaded with sugar. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't take a drink every blue moon? Okay. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for all of us who drink excessively, we've got to do a better job at pulling back, because all we're doing is killing ourselves. It's basically what is called suicide, and it's a slow death, and sometimes it's a fast death. But these little images are images to make us think. And again, to ask that question, we know the answer. You wouldn't eat 22 packages of sugar, and neither would I. But then why in the hell are we drinking it and them? That's a challenge that we must come to grips with, because a lot of us just don't want to accept the fact that we're junkies, that we're strung out. Now, if you don't want to do anything about your situation, then all of this, what I'm saying, it means nothing. And I know to a lot of us, it doesn't. But to those who are serious about getting rid of this sugar once and for all, because you don't need it. See, that's psychological. You don't need it. I don't need it, because I make sugar. So what I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, we have to realize that it's important that we do the right thing, because this sugar that we're intaking is destroying us. It's killing us. It's damaging our liver. It's damaging our kidneys. It's making our teeth decay. It's giving us bad eyesight. It's causing dementia. It's doing a lot of things to us that we should be aware of, that we should take hold of. And so I want you to know that this broadcast tonight is a broadcast that's important. But I also want you to know that I'm going to be on a broadcast starting the first Saturday of July. It's going to be called the Ja and Kev Show. Myself and another brother named Kevin Lewis, we're going to have a live broadcast where you can call in, and we're going to talk to you about subjects like this and other subjects, social issues, political issues, relational issues, spiritual issues. So we want you to know that our community is in dire need of someone who's going to tell the truth about it. So I want you to tune into the Ja and the Kev Show. It's coming Saturday, July the 1st, but we're going to send you all out notifications, those of us who are our friends, so that you can tune in, so that you can subscribe to it, so that you can call in, so that you can know that there are so many things that's going on in the communities that we have to address. We can no longer hide behind our cell phones and be on social media watching frivolous and foolishness all the time. When will we get serious about the intake of sugar that we have allowed our bodies to ingest? When will we get serious about how, if we don't stop this, I'm warning all of us, myself included, I'm warning all of us, brothers and sisters, that if we don't stop now, we're going to find ourselves on dialysis. We're going to find ourselves taking shots, diabetes shots. We're going to find ourselves getting shot with insulin. We're going to find ourselves not able to see properly at an older age. We're going to find ourselves always tired. We're going to find ourselves always irritable. We're going to find ourselves up one day because the sugar is in us. And then when the sugar gets into our system and goes away somewhat, then we're going to find ourselves down. We're going to find ourselves on these roller coasters, high 1 minute and lo the next. So I speak these things to us because I love you, brothers and sisters. And I know I must tell you this because a lot of us don't want to hear this. But what I will say, you must tune in on next Wednesday. You must tell friends about this broadcast because next Wednesday is a broadcast that you cannot miss next week's broadcast. And because what I'm going to be talking about next Wednesday, and we need to take a chill pill and listen to me. Don't hang up yet. Listen to what the next week's broadcast is going to be about before you cut me off. Next broadcast, next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we're going to be talking about how we can deal with the untruths, the lies, and the falsities, and the inconsistencies and deceptions about what? Juneteenth. Oh, you better listen to this one. This is one for the ages. Please tune in next week at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to talk about all the inconsistencies that Juneteenth has taught us. Not that we should not celebrate it, unless you think I'm off my rocker. I'm not going to be talking about how we should not celebrate it. But what I'm going to be talking about are the things that we were told about Juneteenth that's not true. And because you and I don't like to study history, we're going to talk about it in an intelligent way and show that the stuff that we're doing and saying about Juneteenth is hogwash. It's a lie. I know a lot of us just got done celebrating. I celebrated it myself. But let's talk about some of the things that we were told about Juneteenth. And you're going to say, oh my goodness, I did not know that. So we're going to talk about that next week. And the following week, we're going to talk about how should we celebrate Juneteenth? Because a lot of us, all we do every holiday, so-called, is get drunk and drink and eat food. We never teach the importance of why we do what we do. But doggone it and damn it and whatever you want to say with that, if you tune in next week, you will walk away saying, I have a greater understanding or understanding of what Juneteenth is. I know now when I celebrate it, it's going to mean much more to me. I'm going to teach my children because I want to give you bullet points. These bullet points are going to help you go back and research and see that a lot of the stuff that we were told about Juneteenth is not true. And I'll give you one, and I'm going to go back to my subject tonight. Like one is said that Juneteenth ended slavery. June the 19th, 1865, we say that ended slavery. That's a bold-faced lie. June the 19th did not end slavery. But tune in next week, and I want to teach us how we can put things in perspective, because a lot of us don't want to do history. But tune into your big brother, Jahi, on Adults Only, and we're going to talk about it in such a way that I promise you, you will not be ignorant of the fact, the untruths that we've been told about Juneteenth, you see. Because that's what the problem is now. We get told about certain days, and because we don't research and we don't study and we don't want to listen to someone who teach us or who should teach us about it, we just do it. And before you know it, Juneteenth is going to end up just like every other holiday, full of liquor, full of dope, full of fighting, full of cussing, full of food, full of frivolity, full of foolishness, full of nonsense, full of all of these things. And I'm going to teach us next week. Brothers and sisters, if you would just come back. Now, listen to me. I have to beg I can't say that but I have to beg grown people to tune in to a broadcast that's teaching them nothing but the truth. But I don't have to beg grown folk not to watch the nonsense on TV. I don't have to beg grown folk to stop, to not watch the nonsense in the sporting world. So what I'm saying is, these are the kinds of broadcasts that we need. So what did I say today? We're talking about the overconsumption of sugar and how it's killing us. It's killing our babies. It's killing our families. It's killing us. We have diabetes. We're just dealing with so much now because of all that sugar intake. The first thing I said today, if you weren't here, the first thing we said was this: we must break the chains of our mental dependency on sugar, because some of us, you're strung out. You're a junkie. I know I'm a dope. Not a dope. I know I'm a sugar fiend. You know that you're struggling with that. So we must break the chains. That's the first thing we must do, which is this mental dependency on sugar. Then we must do something else. We must get rid of our psychological slavery to sugar. What has happened to us where we have become slaves to that which is killing us? And this is why I just don't seem to understand many of us, because we don't have a tolerance for the truth anymore. We like nonsense and foolishness, but we don't like to be taught. And the third thing I said tonight was this: defeat our emotional cravings for sugar, because a lot of us are just strung out on sugar and we don't see it as such. And this is why it's very, very important that as people that we realize that the overconsumption of sugar is doing us all a disservice. It's doing us all damage. It's causing us damage to our bodies. It's causing damage to our minds. It's causing damage to our psyches. And yet most of us don't want to sit around just to listen to some practical things that we can do to help us. Yes, we're going to struggle. Yes, it's going to be a process. Yes, it's not going to be done overnight. But this is where we start. You see, this is pragmatic. These are the things that can help us all, because I know that you don't want to take any shots. I know that I don't want to take any shots. And for those who are taking shots, I just say that I hope you're doing what you can to try to eliminate the constant and the more pressure of taking more shots and more medicines when they know that this is what the problem is. So I'm begging you, I'm pleading with all of us that we must all do a better job on the intake of sugar, because as we stated at the outset, our bodies do not need sugar. Why? Because our bodies make sugar. And so all of these things that we're putting in our bodies, all of this candy, all of this cereal, all of this starch, all of these drinks, all of these juices, these things are compounding on what our body is already doing. And over a long period of time, beautiful people, we're going to find ourselves in some serious trouble. And so that's why I came to you tonight. I came to you to talk to you about this. And the only thing that baffles me, the only thing that's blowing my mind, is that normally we have a comment here or there. But what I'm struggling with tonight to wrap around my brain is, I know that a lot of us are struggling with our sugar intake. But yet, I know that a lot of us will not comment, because we hide behind cell phones. We hide behind social media, and we want everyone to think that we're doing everything that we should do. But when we go to the medicine cabinet, and when we open up the medicine cabinet, especially those of us who are maybe in their 40s, I'll say 35 and up, we go to the medicine cabinet and we open the medicine cabinet and we find that there's so much medicine in that cabinet. And a lot of that medicine is because of what we have intaked in our bodies, what we've put in our bodies. And sugar is one of those things. And this is why people have to take those cholesterol, the high cholesterol that we have. This is why we're having strokes. This is why we're having heart attacks. This is why we're having kidney, liver, lung disease. And you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. Many of us have gone insane. And so we want to bring you back on this broadcast called Adults Only. We want to bring you back because you know the saying to be true, and so do I. And the saying to be true is this: oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. That's the subject tonight. The overindulgence of sugar, the influx, the boatloads of sugar that our bodies participate in. Oh, sugar, I love you, but you're killing me. Support this broadcast, Adults Only, by cashing up in your big brother Jahi. It's on the screen. Support the broadcast. This is what we do. We pay monthly bills for this equipment. We've upgraded, as you can see. I could have been wearing my headphones, but I said that's okay. I may give them that next week. But you see this microphone, you see all of these images I'm putting on the screen. These are monthly fees that your big brother has incurred, and I will pay them. But it would be nice to get just a little assistance. That's all. Just a little assistance. I'm not telling you to give 10%. I'm not even telling you to give half of it. I'm saying just whatever you can afford. Cash out. Big Brother Jahi. And the reason that I call myself that, because people ask me, why do you call yourself Big Brother? Because in many families, it's the older person that tells the truth. Now, I'm not saying that the younger ones don't, but that big person, the oldest person, normally they look out for us. They normally tell us the things that we may not want to hear. And that's what they're there for. The older brother and sister, they tell the truth. And then we didn't like them when we were growing up because they were telling us what we should do. But as we got older, we realized that the big brother and the big sister were telling us things that we needed to adhere to. So your big brother tonight, Jahi, is telling you that we have to stop consuming so much sugar. That's right, because the sugar is killing us. It killed many of our people. It's killing many of our people, along with all of the mass incarceration, along with the black on black violence, along with the white on black violence, along with all of the things that we're putting in our system, all of the salt, which is going to be another broadcast, because we haven't talked about this intake of salt that many of us put on our food, with the food already has salt in it. And this is why at a very early age, we have to take medicine because of our blood pressure. And that's a whole nother broadcast. But tonight and last week, we're talking about the sugar intake, because see, the sugar is something that tastes good. The sugar is sweet, you see, and therefore the sugar disguises itself as something that makes us feel good inside. But yet, when this sugar gets in our system and we're consuming too much of it, because it's in basically everything that we eat and drink. And so what happens is, as we get older, the sugar takes its effect in our lives. And I never want to see any of you or myself have to be taking insulin shots because we didn't do what your big brother is saying tonight. And so I'm teaching tonight how all of us, not just you, because many of us like these broadcasts where these men always and women, they talk down to us. They put us down, but I'm including all of us in this thing because I'm struggling with it. You're struggling with it, but we can defeat this thing. We can defeat the overconsumption of the sugar. And I'm going to beat a dead horse tonight. I will beat a dead horse, meaning I will keep putting up on the screen that which you should know. And this is what we should know. In order to break the chains of mental dependency on sugar, we have to know that this is a mental thing. Yes, sometimes you can be sitting around and the mind is going to tell you, you know what? Go get some sugar. Go get something sweet. And that doesn't say go get sugar. It says go get something sweet. And though the sugar is disguised in that sweetness. And so that's a mental dependency. You don't need it. I don't need it. Also, we have to do this. Get rid of our psychological slavery to sugar. We are enslaved to sugar. Many of us are. Oh, yes, we are. And we don't want to admit it. But whatever the sugar tells us to do, we do it. As the illustration I gave at the store when we go shopping to get bread or to get some water, and we find ourselves throwing something in the basket that's sweet. Why do we do that? Because our psychological makeup, our psyche tells us, since you're at the store, throw something in the basket that's sweet. And then we do it. And then last but not least, we must defeat our emotional cravings for sugar. We must defeat our emotional cravings for sugar, because that's not a good thing, beautiful people. That is not a good thing at all. It's terrible. It's something that we should look at as people and say, hey, I will not be a part of that which is destroying my own body. I will not be a part of that which is destroying my own body. And I will put this up again right here, because I think we need to see it again. And we need to talk about it. Did you not know that there's a problem with sugar? Okay, what is the problem with sugar? Sugar is 8 times as addictive as cocaine. Yes, that's the cravings. Sugar is 8 times as addictive as cocaine. And what's interesting is while cocaine and heroin, notice I say heroin like an old schooler, heroin in the brain, sugar lights up the brain like a pinball machine. I got to say this quote again. I've been wearing this quote out today, but I'm trying to do this so that we can get some shock value as to what sugar is doing to us, our children, our grandchildren, our relatives. But it says, did you not know this? Sugar is 8 times as addictive as cocaine. And what is interesting is while cocaine and heroin, it activate only one spot for pleasure, which is that dopamine in our brain. Sugar lights up the brain like a pinball machine. And that's why many of us like to go back. That's why we go back to sugar. That's why we always are getting something that's sweet. This is why we like sugar so much, because this sugar has done us great disservice. And this is why a lot of us don't like these kind of broadcasts. That's why a lot of us don't tune in to brothers and sisters who's serious. That's why this broadcast is called Adults Only, because it's only the adult mind that can take these truths. It's only the adult that wants to hear the truth so that they can learn. It's only the adult that wants to know how to do things, because we know that as adults, we don't know everything. It's only the adult that's interested in saving life, as opposed to just sports all the time, as opposed to just entertainment all the time, as opposed to just listening to music all the time. Those things in and of itself, they have their proper place, but we do not do as much research and scientific research to help our own selves when it comes to this aspect of sugar. And that's why this broadcast was entitled, "Oh, Sugar, I Love You, but You're Killing Me." This is part 2. Part 1 was last week. And as I said again, in a couple of weeks, please check out the Kev, the John and the Kev show. It's going to be July the 1st. It's going to be a live call-in, so you can call in and talk to us. So I want you to be on the lookout for your notification, because we want you all to be able to call in, because we're going to be talking about issues that our society is dealing with, struggling with. Yes. And some of us don't like to talk about this. And this is why you jump on this broadcast and then you jump off. This is why you look at it for 5 seconds and then you leave. This is why you turn it on and don't even watch it and do other things, because you don't realize the importance of the truth, brothers and sisters. So what I'm saying is, we must all know that sugar has done us a great disservice. And I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Oftentimes when we leave the show, we say certain words. And the words that we use are words that are in the Medu Neter, which is the ancient Egyptian writing. So we leave you by saying Shem Imhotep. Some say Shemhotep. Some say Shem Imhotep. That means that I want to go in peace. I want you to go in peace. It's a peace of mind that I want you to have. It's a peace heart that I want you to have. That's why this broadcast is so prevalent. Tell someone about this broadcast. Like this broadcast. Tune into this broadcast next Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, while we talk about how we've got to look at all of the falsities and the lies that we've been told about Juneteenth. We must address every one of them. And then you're going to see the importance of Juneteenth. Not that we shouldn't celebrate it. Not that it's not valid. But some of the things that we've been told about Juneteenth are nothing but bold-faced lies, and no one has debunked them. But your big brother next week will go into it, and I will slow the train down, and we will talk about and discuss how many of us celebrate Juneteenth and don't even know what we're doing. We don't know the historical significance. We know nothing about it. It has nothing to do with just food alone. It has nothing to do with drinking alone. It has nothing to do with partying alone. It has to do with the people who were enslaved for many years, who were told that they were free, but yet they really weren't free. But after the 13th Amendment came, our brothers and sisters finally got that opportunity, and you're going to be surprised. So once again, I thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. And I say to all of you, Shem Imhotep. And next week, I hope that I did everything correctly, because this is my new gadget I have. I didn't see one comment. So, and people normally do comment. So maybe it's something I need to investigate to find out, because I know that some of you would have liked to have said something. And if you did try to comment and you couldn't, I'm sorry. I just working with my new equipment, and hopefully next week I'll have it fixed. But for right now, I say to all of you, Shem Imhotep, which is, I'm going to go in peace, and I want you to go in peace. So once again, you have been tuned in to a broadcast that's called Adults Only. I am your big brother, and I will see you all on next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So I will overlay my screen with Adults Only. That's the last thing you will see. And I hope you all a wonderful evening.